purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all while awakening to the one. And whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, but we recognize that they all end in oneness and in God, in love. We are grateful that each of you is here with us this morning. So we begin with our receptivity statement that you'll see on our screen. And so if you would repeat along with me, even though you're muted. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So this morning we have a lot of wonderful things happening this next few weeks at our center. But today our musicians are Gary Lynn Floyd and Jimmy Lula. Together they're known as Floyd Lula. And we're highlighting them today because they're giving a free concert online tonight on Facebook at 6 p.m. So we're excited. So we wanted to let you, if you haven't heard of them before, make sure that you'll after you hear them this morning, you'll definitely want to listen to the concert. This month our theme is inclusion in action. And so our first song today is by Gary Lynn Floyd, and it's called Christ in Me, Christ in You. And we are one because the Christ consciousness is alive in both me and you.
The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. Everyone's a chosen one, the many and the few. All together now, it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. To know love is to be love, and I know love will stay alive. If the Christ in me sees the Christ in you, everyone too. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. When my friend feels sad or broken, every time that my heart opens, love makes its way into the world. When the Christ in me sees the Christ in you, everyone's a chosen one, the many and the few. All together now, it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. Namaste, 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 namaste. Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om. The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. Everyone's a chosen one, the many and the few. All together now, it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. Love you.
right. It's always amazing to watch such a masterful musician play. I don't know how he does it without looking at the keys, but and he's definitely inspired when he sings. So, and writes his music. That's an original. So next we move into our session with our practitioner of the day, who is Brenda Haldorn. She led a wonderful meditation this morning, and now she'll be opening with our invocation and also a spiritual reading. Brenda?
Thank you. So taking in a deep breath, I open my mind and I open my heart to see the truth that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Just one life, one mind, one intelligence, the source of all energy, of all life, of beauty, peace, joy, above all, love. And that life is my life. That life is the life of each of you and of all creation. And so I simply join my consciousness with the one life, with the one mind. And I let my smallness step away, and I allow the one to become the life in me, as me, through me. This is available to all beings that have an open heart and mind to feel this presence. And so for today, I carry this reminder forward for everyone I come in contact with, in person or virtually. And by simply being that place of love, letting the life of the one live in me, the invitation is extended to all beings to join their consciousness with the one life, the one mind, the allness and the love of God. And I am so grateful for the invitation to participate in this one life. And my purpose is to demonstrate that in everything I see, think, say, and do. And I give thanks for this. I release my word into the law, knowing that it always returns fulfilled, and I am blessed. And together we say, and so it is. Today's reading is from Ernest Holmes, from his book, How to Use the Science of Mind. In spiritual practice, we follow the stream of individual life back to the original source from which it emerged, and in which it still lives, moves, and has its being. This is an important part of our treatment, to connect the universal with the individual, and the individual with the universal. Instead of denying that God is personal to each, we should emphasize such personalness. It is one of the chief cornerstones of this spiritual philosophy. Each individual life is a unique expression of the universal wholeness. No two lives can or ought to be alike. The one universal life flows through everything. We give individual expression to it. When we say there is one cause back of all manifest form, one intelligence back of all consciousness, and one spirit within all men, we are not denying the reality of created forms or individual experience. We are affirming the unity of all life, a unity which includes all variety. Unity passes into variety in multiplicity without division. In each creation, life brings its whole nature to bear upon the individual expression. Thus, every man's life not only has God, but all of God, back of, within, and through him. The significance of this we but dimly perceive. Yet by some interior awareness which all people possess, we sense the divine presence and know that we are part of it. Everyone should feel an intimate relationship with the Spirit. This has been the essence and the vitality of all religious convictions throughout the ages. No matter how crude they may have been, they have been built on a solid, substantial, permanent, and changeless reality. Everyone needs the warmth and color, the imagination and feeling of a sense of intimacy with the creative spirit. Our intellect yearns toward it, as naturally as a rose turns to the sun. In spiritual mind healing, it is important that we sense an infinite personalness back of, in, and through everyone. Without this, our work would have no warmth or color. It would be without feeling, therefore unproductive, uncreative, dead.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah.
So recently we've been talking a lot about it. Well, this month is inclusion in action. And so we focus a lot on systemic racism and Black Lives Matters. But inclusion means inclusion of all people, regardless of their gender, ethnicity, culture, experience, talents, and their sexual orientation. All people are created from the one life that is God. However, this diversity within the human race gives humankind its warmth and its colorfulness. This next song by Floyd Lula is called Indivisible, and it's Gary's story of coming to accept himself as an empowered and loving gay man. And there's a sort of long introduction, but I wanted to include it as well because it's talking about the issues that we're talking about in our topic today, inclusion in action. So let me start that for you guys. Okay.
That shifted, then I began to heal and could see. But now every time I hear someone say, "Oh my God," I turn around and it's like, oh, oh no. He thinks they're quoting his song. I know. But it's such a part of the culture, whether it's, oh my God, which we know of, or oh my God, or oh my God, oh my God. Oh, so I just had to sing it. You know, and it's like when I saw those trees, it's like knowing your oneness. Just knowing your oneness. When you look at another human being and you know your oneness. And I've been trying to practice it. Going places where I'm feeling irritated and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, oh, there's God.
There's God. There's God. There's God. There's God. Even people that are kind of pissing me off, there's God.
Oh my God, there's
Oh
God.
my God, there's God. But I'll tell you when I really say oh my God is when Gary sings this next song. I love this song that we wrote together, and I'm like, Gary, this is your song.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Praise Jesus, Gary Lynn Floyd.
You just set me up for this one.
I did.
Most of these songs Jamie and I have written over the last couple of years. We get together and write, and most of them come out of just conversations that we have about life and what we're going through. And this song, this is a special song. I was raised as a gay kid in a Southern Baptist family and culture. That's a trip. It's a trip. Oh my God. Oh my God. The cool thing that I have found as I've kind of evolved and grown is that really the only mistake I ever made was that I believed what other people said about me. And when I finally realized, it's been a journey. It's been a real awakening to finally come to the place where I realized that I just needed to shift what I felt about myself and what I thought about myself. And when that shifted, then I began to heal and could see our similarities, so that I could go back into that world and kind of show them what I was talking about. So that's what this song came out of that thought. You told me you'd love me as I am, but you find it unacceptable that I love what you condemn. You scold me and try to instigate, but I'm not here to rectify what I know to be innate. I know my love is not a crime, but I've become invisible in this box you put me in. Been editing and rearranging the man inside my skin. We're indivisible, it's never gonna change. Our minds observe our differences, our hearts one and the same. Indivisible, we're indivisible. They hold me, and I know where I belong. Not hiding from the inferences that my shadow's much too small. Enfold me, let me love from where I am. I know that I was born an extraordinary man. Loving me is not a crime. I become invisible in this box you put me in. Been editing and rearranging the man inside my skin. We're indivisible, that's never gonna change. Our minds observe our differences, our hearts one and the same. You taught me to love, and show me the way. You forgot your words. Now everything has changed. I'm not invisible. No box can put me in. I'm pliable. I celebrate this man inside my skin. indivisible, that's never gonna change. I love you now forevermore, will never be estranged. Not invisible, no box can hold me in. I'm pliable, I celebrate the man inside my skin. Indivisible, that's never gonna change. I love you now forevermore, will never be estranged. Indivisible, we're indivisible. Indivisible, we're indivisible. Indivisible, indivisible.
You know, that's an amazing song. You know, it's about the transformation and freedom and the power when Gary recognized the spiritual truth of who he is, you know. All the things that make him like other people and all the things that make him unique. You know, what called him to love was his divinely created way of being. He couldn't divide the different parts of himself without denying parts of himself, without calling part of himself less than, right? So he's whole, perfect, and complete just as he is. And, you know, and inclusion is about including everyone just as they are. You know, last week Rick spoke about discovering who we are, all the parts of ourselves, and we recognize our own uniqueness and self-worth. You know, in this song, it's about our self-awareness of who we are and who we are not. It's the first step in being able to see and appreciate ourselves, love ourselves, and accept ourselves, and to give each other that same freedom to be unique, to be the divine manifestation of God, the individualization of God that we talked about in the reading today, that we're meant to be, to see ourselves and each other as whole, perfect, and complete. So this month of August, we're talking about inclusion and action. You know, it's the sizzling hot August, summer. And so we're going to talk about seeing each person as whole and learning about all the things that make each person unique, what about them is like us and what is different. Giving others that same gift of loving acceptance and appreciation that we give ourselves. And this week, we're going to talk about the differences between being colorblind and seeing the world as colorful. You know, one well-intentioned strategy that's been adopted in the past was to say that we are colorblind. This is how we can end racism. And my mother taught me to be colorblind and see people's skin color just like their hair color or the texture of their hair, but people are all the same underneath their skin. Okay, now, after all, there's less than 0.01% genetic differences between people that have different skin colors. It sounds great at first, you know, and it is an improvement over the overt racism that my mother saw as a child growing up. But practicing colorblindness actually perpetuates systemic racism. Okay, that sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. Let's investigate that. You know, colorblindness assumes that we should and can all conform to our idea of the ideal person, someone who is just like us. Not someone who is like them, but someone who is just like us. We all have the potential to be the same. But the fallacy here is the assumption that we are homogeneous. We are not. Each of us expresses the divine in our own unique way. So we are this in Ernest Holmes, in the book Lessons in Spiritual Mind Healing, he says, we are this universal presence as a person. We are a point where it recognizes itself as a person. We are its personality and individualism. So when we look at what it's like to be colorblind, I'd like you to take a look at this picture of the wildflowers. Imagine maybe you could make that full screen, Michael, and go into the slideshow. So yeah, if you click on slideshow, Mike, it'll make it full screen. See up at the top? Anyway, so just imagine a beautiful field of red Indian paintbrush wildflowers. Now there's all kinds in this picture, but let's just imagine that they were just the Indian paintbrush. What an inspiring sight to behold. Red flowers topping green leaves everywhere. That wonderful feeling of nature bursting forth in magnificent new growth. But what if you kept walking through the meadow and you didn't see any purple lupines or yellow mule's ear with that distinctive large green leaves? What if you didn't see a single sugar pine tree that we have so many of here in Tahoe, or a fir tree, or a 400-year-old Jeffrey pine? What if the whole planet grew only red Indian paintbrush wildflowers and no wheat or broccoli or strawberry plants? What would we eat? What if there were no barrel cacti or Joshua tree cacti in the desert where the Indian paintbrush have difficulty growing? This is somewhat what it would like to be colorblind. Now, even further, the human race is like a garden of only roses. There are different colors, and there's different subspecies, such as the heritage roses with the color and fragrance, hybrid tea roses, they're bred to be hardy, large blossoms and long stems, and florose trees, the floribunda with lots of blooms that bloom all year round, and little miniature roses. But they're all roses, right? There aren't any other kinds of flowers. There aren't trees and vegetables and fruit all mixed in. It's just roses. And most of those modern roses are hybrids of the heritage roses that existed before 1867, when agriculturists began creating hybrids. Right? There was only one human race. Racism is a social construct. It's in our minds. It is not a physical reality. Right? There are insufficient differences to warrant designation as a subspecies or a special genotype, according to the biologist. And so what people have created, we have to deconstruct. This is how we can get beyond systemic racism and recreate a world where we treat people with equity and love. Now, another important issue or thought to recognize is that oneness is not sameness. And this is the heart of my talk this morning. In Science of Mind, we teach that each person is a unique expression of God created with sacred worth. Ernest Holmes puts it this way: each individual life is a unique expression of the universal wholeness. No two lives can or ought to be alike. The one universal life flows through everything. We give individual expression to it. And that's from the How to Use the Science of Mind that Brenda read from this morning. Now, also, unity and uniformity are not the same thing. Right? This is also from Ernest Holmes. This is a theme in much of his writing. So there are ways that we are alike as human beings and ways that we are different. Each human being in our wonderfully diverse world contributes their unique gifts to humankind. We need each other to be complete, to be part of that whole of oneness. We flourish when we are individually recognized and appreciated for who we are as individuals, for our different needs, our interests, our life experiences. When we try and treat everyone as the same, it dishonors those differences. Treating people equitably, according to who they are, demonstrates how we value and appreciate each other for both our likenesses and our differences. We form authentic relationships when we come to understand and support each other as we truly are, not whether we conform to any single or non-existent ideal stereotype that we've come up in our own minds. Right? They don't really exist in our own minds. There was a man that was a good friend of my father's, and he was a geologist, very good, but he was colorblind. And so it made it very difficult for him to go out in the field because he had trouble recognizing one mineral from the other just by looking at it, as most geologists are able to do. But he loved geology, and so he worked at it, worked with other people. But then the first time that he saw the satellite pictures of the Earth, this is back in the 70s, late 70s. So he looked down on the satellite picture that showed the vegetation. And it was able to zoom in, and this was a picture that you could zoom in and see a pack of cigarettes, on the ground. You could pick it out. It was that fine, camera photography. And he looked at it and he said, "Oh, this is fantastic." And my dad was there with him, and he said, and he didn't say anything. He said, I need to go check something out. So John went back out into his own office, and from the pattern of the different vegetation, he was able to see one area that was different by the vegetation, not by the color, but by the vegetation, the type. And he went and looked, and they found the ore that they had been looking for over a year in the field. They hadn't been able to find it. And by seeing the vegetation, it gave him a way to not be colorblind. Right? There are different ways to see. And so he was very excited when he came back and told my dad about, what had happened, because it was very lucrative for John's company. So we are connected with those who are different than us. We see differently. We are different. One of the things that when we try and connect with people that are different from us, we say, "Oh, you're not the same as me." Well, then we assume separation. We go the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like Jamie Lulu is saying, "Oh my God, there is God, there is God, there is God," and see someone that especially irritates him. "Oh, there is God too," right? And it's these difficult conversations with people that have different world views that are the most difficult. All right, this is when we're really challenged to demonstrate exclusion in action. Just think of it. When someone's different from us, we don't sit down and share a coffee with them, glass of wine, lunch. 20 years ago in the Senate, there was a tradition that the senators were all friends with representatives on their side of the aisle and across the aisle. It's no longer that way anymore. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Justin Antonin Scalia had a very different legal perspectives, as we all know, but they were good friends. They respected each other. They and their spouses, they had dinner together frequently. So they were able to understand, they were able to bridge the gap and understand other sides of the issues, not only their own. Right? But it's not easy to sit down with someone that you don't know yet who is different than us. What do you talk about? You can talk about, well, what do we have in common? Well, we're both born of two parents, unless, of course, one is a cloned test tube baby. We eat and drink every day, maybe different foods. We all want shelter from the weather, be it snow or rain or wind or the sun beating down. We all want to raise our families and have them live in safety, health, and happiness. These are all common requirements to survive. But how we are different, this is where the challenge comes in. When we talk about differences in the abstract, this is where the colorblindness comes in. We can relate to if we decide to talk to someone who's different, we can initially relate to them as an individual, right? And what is the meaning of life? What is common? But this is a, what makes them think as an individual, but this is a spiritual bypass, right? The hard work comes when we try to talk to people who are not like us, not just how they work individually, but appreciating their differences. What is it that makes them different? And really understand that. And to do that, we have to stretch our understanding of what is good and possible. We have to stretch our understanding of the divine, of the infinite. I mean, God created all of us and all of this amazing variety of people that we have, of cultures and um, our belief systems and our skin color and the experiences that we have growing up. So that divine has a method in its madness, if you will, right? One of the things that also works against us is that we like to hang out with like-minded people, we say, right? And that gives us comfort. But that also means that we stay in our silos. One of the things going on with the media right now is that there's no longer the ethical requirement to stick with the facts like they taught in journalism school, right? They were supposed to distinguish the facts from the editorial opinions. And now there's opinion everywhere. It's mixed in with everything, right? Now, it used to be you would open your newspaper in the morning and you turn the pages and you'd get an overview of the day's news. Maybe you'd see a picture that would interest you and you'd read about something that you would have never thought of in the past, and it would expand your world, right? Our curiosity got us to explore something new, expand our awareness. Today, with the cable TV news, even with the online newspapers and the blogs, we just click through to find the stories that interest us, and those are the ones that basically confirm what we already know, what our existing opinions already are. We have to explore to go beyond to something new. Right? When we deal with, another thing is, as we deal with people as stereotypes, as we expect them to be, different than us. So that means that they're all people in a certain group are going to be the same. There isn't a single ideal way to be. White people, okay, white people act a certain way, but we're not homogeneous. Black people are not homogeneous. Latinos, all Americans, there's all of these stereotypes that really get in the way of dealing with people. When we look at systemic racism, there's a lot of things that are built into these stereotypes. Even though we think we're not necessarily being racist, there are structural things that need to change. One example is redlining in home loans. In the past, there has been great difficulty for people of color to obtain home loans. And owning a home is one of the ways that you build generational wealth to pass it on to the next generation. And so they were able to do that not as easily as white people in the past. Even now with rent, when different people go in to apply for an apartment, they've shown through some studies that Black or Latino people go in to look for apartments in the same building complex, and they're shown 12% fewer apartments. So they're even told that there's none available when the next white person coming in gets shown a couple of apartments, right? It happens. Another study with job interviews, they used resumes with different, same qualifications, but some had names of people that sounded like they were people of color, and some that were white people. And they found, this is amazing, 30% likely to get a call in for the interview. Same qualifications, but just the name is the only difference on the resumes. I experienced this as a teenager when I was growing up. When I had graduated high school, and I wanted a summer job before I went off to college. And so they had a youth employment office for summer jobs. So, oh, this is great. So I went in and, I dressed up looking nice so I could go to an interview. And I went and talked to them, and they said, well, we don't have any jobs. And so just fill out this form, and and we'll call you if we find anything. So I was sad and didn't know what I was going to do. But they said, oh, and then about then a TV crew arrived, and they wanted to do this whole special segment for the news on the student employment office. So they said, oh, I was the only student there. So they said, could we just film you walking in and out of the door and kind of walking up and filling the application and do a good story. So okay, fine. So I did that. So it took me about 15 or 20 minutes before they were going to be through filming and setting up their cameras and all that sort of stuff. Well, while I'm there and while we're doing that, a young man walks in. He walks up to the desk, and they say, well, we just have two jobs available. One is on farm labor, and the other one is an engineering office that wants a drafter. So they were going to let him look at the resumes. And I walked back up to the desk and I said, I'd like to look at that drafting job. I took drafting in high school and I got the highest grade in my class. And I've been accepted to Stanford to be in the civil engineering program. So I'd like to see if I can get that job. Well, the person at the desk was a little bit surprised, and but I was very persistent, and they said, okay, fine. So they gave me the name, and I had the interview, and I got the job. So I was treated differently because I was a woman, right? So that doesn't happen quite as often these days, but it's a very real thing. We need to take each other for who we are. We need to see what our individual strengths are and what's different. In Science of Mind, we talk about, Ernest Holmes said, unity passes into variety and multiplicity without division. In each creation, life brings its whole nature to bear upon the individual expression. Thus, every man's life not only has God, but all of God, back of, within, and through him. So think about what this means. Every person has all of God, back of, within, and through him. Right, so this means two primary things. God is expressing itself in, through, and as us, yes. And we are part of God that is backing up every other person on this planet. Right? That is part of our role as well. The same acceptance and understanding that we want for ourselves, we are to give to each other. We are part of that unity that passes into the variety and multiplicity without division. Without division. Right? So, pulling all of this together into our call for action, if we are really interested in imbuing oneness, we need to be with other people who are different from us in order to experience a loving, unified relationship with God. Love pushes us to widen our circle of inclusion and reach out to others who are different from us. We shouldn't assume that we all think, believe, pray, sing, dress, talk, or behave exactly like us. In fact, we are challenged to embrace the differences, the disagreements, and the uniquenesses. Why? Because in that kind of inclusive, diverse, and authentic way, we get a glimpse of what oneness truly is. We are no longer colorblind. We see the world as colorful and beautiful technicolor. So let's take this to prayer. So as we close our eyes and go within, we allow our heart and mind to come in alignment, and we see God, the all, the universe connected as one life force, the vastness of God. And so imagine the journey from the earth to the sun. We go beyond the moon, beyond Venus, beyond Mars. It is 93 million miles to the sun. But that distance is only a tiny, tiny fraction of the infinite distance to the end of the Milky Way galaxy. The sun is one of the billions of stars in the Milky Way, and the Milky Way galaxy is one of billions of galaxies in the universe. It is all one. Time and space are so vast. And I allow my own consciousness to expand, to encompass that vastness of God, of the universe. I am one with the universe. One. And from this experience, this consciousness of the oneness, of the vastness of the universe, I now focus down and focus my way back, coming back to the earth. And as I come closer and closer, I approach it with love, with wonder. My home planet, how beautiful, that marvel in space. And I come back to the surface of the planet and find that it's snowing. And I travel closer and closer, and I get smaller and smaller. I'm able to magically see the individual snowflakes, the beauty of each one. So lacy, so delicately constructed crystals of water. No two are the same. Each one is unique, each one constructed by God as the artist. How beautiful, magnificent. And so I linger a moment, rejoicing in the love of God to create such an array of snowflakes, the power and the presence of God. And now I move back to the human scale. And I see my fellow human beings, another magnificent creation of God. I see their arms and legs moving as they walk. I sense their heart beating, their voices singing, their faces smiling. Love connects us. And I see two people together holding a small baby in their arms, a new life. Their faces are filled with joy. I rejoice. The next person I see, their face is sad. They have lost someone dear to them. My heart goes out to them with compassion and with love. I look around me and see people of every age, young and old, of every color, white, black, and brown, of every gender, of every ability, standing, walking easily, walking with a cane, sitting in a wheelchair. I see them dressed in an array of clothing in infinitely varied styles, covered from head to foot to protect themselves from the sun or from the cold, and others in just minimal clothing or none at all, and everything in between. Each person is a precious creation of God, each one a living and breathing expression of God's love, of God's creative power and presence. Each one my brother or sister, my fellow human being. We all come from the one source, from God itself. We behold a colorful array of the infinite form that we are together. We reach out our arms to touch, to embrace each other as part of ourselves, of the one. We lift our voices to sing praises to the one that created us. I see God in everyone. I am willing to sit down and learn about you, to learn about our likenesses, and our differences, to explore how our differences add to the wonderful wholeness of God, how we need each other to expand our worlds. I am so grateful to know this truth, to know that we are truly one in spirit. We are whole. We are loved. We are each perfect as we are. My heart is so filled with love, with joy and gratitude. It is full to overflowing. And as I let go and let this truth permeate every part of my consciousness, I rest in God's love. All is well. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And together we anchor this truth, this knowing by saying, and so it is. And so our last song today is called God in Everyone. God is in all I have found. Again, Floyd Lula.
Everything beneath the sun breathes like a harmonium. Pure perfection has begun, shining like a midnight sun. Out of darkness I have come. I see God in everyone. Let me be an instrument, guided by an heaven sent. May these grapes of pain ferment, alchemize to love's content, ever be a sacrament, knowing God is my intent. God, let me know your name, hold me in the same breath as your word. God, I feel you all around. Oh, how you astound me with your grace. Rolling like a thundercloud, let me live my love out loud, standing for mankind and proud, baptized in a holy shroud. Peace be still and know me now. God is in all I have found. God, let me know your name, hold me in the same breath as your word. Oh God, I feel you all around. Oh, how you astound me with your grace. Same breath, seals His Spirit, I become knowing what I'm here for. Growing on to distant shore. Oh, how you astound from the infinite with your praise. God in everyone, spinning like a prayer field. Let's see, know your darkness I have come. I see God in everyone.
So, yes, I agree. So tonight, remember, you want to join that concert, so there's more to come. All right, we're going to move into our prosperity portion of our service. And the our center is the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee relies on your community contributions to continue spreading our positive messages during this challenging time. Your gifts make a great difference, so we're very grateful for your contribution to the center, big or small. And you may donate by sending in your checks. You can use your bank's online bill pay or donate online through www.tahoe.org's website. That's our website. And then also you can use a PayPal or a credit card. And here we come to, okay, and we can take your offering and hold it over your heart or your thought of it and say together with me, I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me blessed and multiplied. And so it is with gratitude that we accept these gifts, knowing that it is the abundance of God that comes through many, many sources, here to do God's work. As we share the tools that we have here for spiritual transformation and the love and the inclusion and action that our center has to embrace all of life. We are grateful, Father, Mother God, for your loving presence in all ways. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. All right. So we have lots of wonderful things going on. Oh, we have a song before we move on.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power,
Okay, so we do know that God is our source and gives us everything we need. And in August, what we need is we're going to have some wonderful things happening. The as the pandemic continues, we're thriving, but we need a little fun. So we've got a whole lot of things that are planned. You can find all of these announcements in the Zoom links because almost everything is online, and they're in our constant contact. So if you're not receiving that, please call the office or email us, and we'll get you connected. And also, you can invite your family and friends to watch us on our Sunday Talks on Zoom. And also the replay is available after the service on Sundays or Mondays at the latest. You can replay it on YouTube, on our YouTube station, or you can also find the links on our Facebook page or Instagram and in our website. So lots of different ways to connect. Now, next Sunday, I'll be speaking again on the topic Better Together. Our guest musician is Tuck Wilson, and Carol Delbon will be our practitioner. The Sunday after that, we have something special. Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones will be giving his talk on the art of uncertainty. And he's a senior minister who's, he's written at least 5 or more books. And this is one of the most popular books. It's won awards. And so that'll be his topic that Sunday. And also he'll be sharing some of his music, which is also considerable. Now the next announcement is about tonight. This is the Floyd Lula concert. So you can, it's at 6 o'clock tonight. It's at 7 Mountain Time, but 6 o'clock Pacific Time. So make sure you get the time right. And here's the Facebook link. You can go on Facebook and just Google for Floyd Lula and go to that webpage, or you can go into I think we left it out of the constant contact, so we're going to try and send out a special edition that has that link. But you can copy it down here. Now, as we have something going on every day of the week in our center, and on Monday, Monday and Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning is when we have our morning meditation with the practitioners. It's a great way to start your week, start your day, and be calm, centered, and remember that we are one with God. On Wednesday nights, we have our Wednesday night gathering. And so this week, Rick is going to be on vacation. He'll be up in the mountains hiking with his wife, Marie, on a 65-mile journey, I understand. So their cell reception is not very reliable. And so we've got a substitute coming in. And Donna Hartley will be leading our Wednesday night service. And you'll really enjoy this. If you've heard Donna before, you'll know what an energetic, amazing person she is. She'll be talking about acceptance. And she knows what she's talking about because she has lived through 3 life-threatening events, and she's been interviewed on CBS, ABC, NBC, the New York Times, and she has a lot of wisdom and enthusiasm for life that she will be sharing with us on Wednesday night. Now, for the second week of Rick's vacation on Wednesday night, Kelly Lee Sappenfield will be joining us to talk about you don't have to die to transform. What is COVID teaching you? And Kelly Lee is a 5th-generation metaphysician, soul evaluation coach, spiritual visioner, she calls it, visioneer, an author and international speaker. She will also be available afterwards or later in the week for one-on-one spiritual coaching sessions if you're also interested in that. But our Wednesday night service is just a drop-in service like all of our other things during the week. Excuse me. On Friday night, now this is something really special. We have another treat for you. This is also at 6 p.m. online, And here's the link to register, and you can also, that same link is in our constant contact this week. But Reverend Stephen Rambo, the CSL Simi Valley, and Jason Love, who's here on the left, is a comedian, and they have together created this virtual comedy night for the CSL Centers for Spiritual Living to help relieve the tension of living through the COVID pandemic. It's also a fundraiser. The event itself is free. However, we are asking everyone to make a love offering, large or small, to their local CSL, including our own CSL Tahoe-Truckee. The link to sign up for the free event is here, and you will find a great lineup here of who's going to be on, the very famous male and female comedians, and then there's also a video of Jason Love's personal invitation to our congregation, and so we're going to show that to you right here. Don't worry.
Hello, Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Jason Love, and I am so excited for our virtual comedy night on Saturday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. I'm working with my friend Reverend Stephen Rambo at the Simi Valley location. We're going to go out to lots of locations. The point being to just relieve the insanity of this weird movie we're in, and also to build community. And for me, Center for Spiritual Living is where this whole thing started all those years ago when I finally allowed myself to want what I want and to go after it. So what a treat to do this all these years later. And what a treat to share with you some of my favorite comics. We got so lucky. On this lineup, we've got Carlos Oscar, who was Princess Cruise Line's Entertainer of the Year. Remember cruise lines, everybody? It was such a simpler time, wasn't it? People shook hands and hugged. We had so much toilet paper, we'd throw it over each other's houses as a lark. We've also got Gina Stallhaven. She won the San Francisco International Comedy Competition. We've got Kayvon, who's been on everything. Tonight Show, Last Comic Standing, more recently Bring the Funny on NBC. And we also have Johnny Beaner. Yeah, that's his name, Johnny Beaner. He was on Letterman. He's got a dry bar special. You guys are in for a treat on Saturday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. Mark the date. We are asking only a love donation, but if you don't have it, don't sweat it. Just come and laugh with us. We want to do this together. So signing off, I'm Jason Love. We'll see you guys on August 22nd.
All right. And so make sure that you sign up for that, and it should be a great time. Now, 2 Saturdays from now, on August 29th, is going to be our Adopt a Highway event for the month. And we're starting a little bit earlier, so it's cool in the morning. And we're meeting at the Kingswood Village condominiums. Bring water, gloves, hat, and a mask. We will be providing the vest, the plastic bags, and the grabber tools. So we're asking if you can, you don't have to, but if you would call or email the office, the admin at tahoecsl.org, and just let us know if you're going to be coming so we can make sure we have enough supplies for everyone. All right. And then last but by no means least, we have our ongoing events that are all of our drop-in events that occur on Zoom each week. We already mentioned the morning meditation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights. And then the Thursday, we have the meditation led by Mary McEnany and Penny Schuller at 5 to 6 p.m. So you will need to contact Mary in advance to get the link. So do that. But it's a wonderful meditation. A Course in Love is on Fridays, but this week is the third Friday, so it will be Letting Go by David Hawkins, the book study led by Sue Pipel. And then on Saturday mornings is A Course in Miracles led by Ned Diantios. And this is also a great way. Ned is he's lived with the Course in Miracles for decades, and so he's a great teacher to take anyone through that, and because it's a very deep work that challenges a lot of our paradigms, so how you can live life more fully. All right. So also, there's a lot's going on, and also one of the things that's always here is our practitioners, and they are here to pray with you. And either if you want a quick prayer, if you want to stay after service, you can do that, or if you want to contact them for a longer session. Would you all wave your hands? We have Rick Carney, Nancy O'Neill, Shirley Clark is there, Carol Delbon, and I think that's Michael's going to be joining everyone as a practitioner in training. Again, and Brenda, of course, our practitioner of the day. So we have wonderful practitioners. So and I know myself, I've had several pickles this week that prayer works. It straightens everything out so well. So do that.
Pam,
Okay.
Reverend
Yeah.
Pam, there's a change in the plan on the 29th for Saturday. I'm going to be handling the bags because Michael Sundholm will be gone. So if they want to stop at my little green cabin, that's where they would come at 8:30 to get their bags and their easy pickers. I don't see much point in me getting stuck in traffic going up there and getting stuck in traffic coming back, because the traffic on 267 for the last couple of weekends has been unrelenting from 7 o'clock on till about 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So if they would stop off at my house Sunday, we might want to change that announcement to not meeting at Kingswood, but to meet at the first little cabin you see on 267, that green cabin where my gray pickup truck is.
Okay. Would you put your Bob? Would you put your address in the chat so we can find you? Do you know how to do that?
No, I don't. But I could get.
Yeah, down at the bottom, if you wiggle your mouse around,
Where it says chat.
Click on that, and you can put your address in there.
Okay.
And anyone that wants to see that address, you can wiggle around and click on chat, and you'll be able to see it.
Type message. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Well, no,
but it's going to shift till Tuesday, not Saturday.
You want to do it on Tuesday instead?
No, I thought you said it was.
Well, we were thinking of doing it, but then we had I don't know, then Michael Sundholm couldn't do it on Saturdays, and then
okay, fine.
We're back to the 29th.
Okay.
So
yeah, down the road midweek might be better, because there aren't so many people.
Well, let's see. So the Tuesday would be the 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'd be the 25th, I believe.
Just leave it.
Yeah. So and if anyone wants to do, why don't you sign up, and then we can also get information, because it would be nice to do that with less traffic. I know. So
you want me to write in under this type message here? Come to my house Tuesday morning at 8:30 on the 25th. Okay.
Yes.
No.
Oh no.
Oh.
That is the meditation day.
Saturday.
Yes. So so if it's going to be on Tuesday, it's going to have to be at 9:30. Does that sound right, Nancy?
Just leave it for now and have it Saturday, but earlier, 8:30 instead of 9, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, you can still walk down the highway. I mean, it's just a lot of traffic to drive into. So I'd rather not go up to Kingswood, because it makes more sense to just pick it up right here at my house.
Right. And then we can also, if we know how many people are coming, then we can give assignments, so you don't have to drive farther than
how many cars can fit in your driveway?
About 3 or 4 at a time. I'll make sure there's room.
Okay.
They're not going to leave their cars in my driveway. They're going to go up and park where they start to walk, right? Oh, okay. I understand. Okay, I'll just go up to Kingswood and wait, and I'll just try to get back in traffic. It's just you guys don't know where I live.
Well, we all are going to I'm going to show up actually for once, and we all have to get into traffic to go home. But if you just leave your car there too, Bob, while we're picking, and then when
I can't walk, Penny. I have a bad knee. I'm all bandaged up. I can't walk. So I would drive up there, and once everybody had left with their backpack, I'd just come all the way back home and wait,
Well, maybe one of us will just stop at your place and get all the stuff and take it up to Kingswood.
Just tell me what you want me to put in chat. You don't understand. I'm in the middle of construction
it sounds like
packing a trailer and leaving on the 1st for San Diego. I mean, I've got so much going on. I'll just do whatever you guys want, but I just need.
Why don't we do this? Because we want to make sure it's organized on the day of. So if you are interested in participating, why don't you put your name in the chat, everyone, and your phone number, and we'll make sure that we let you know what the final arrangements are, so you are in the right place at the right time, and know that we appreciate your.
And you can decide by next Sunday and announce it then. You still got a week before the event, so.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's not this coming Saturday. It's the
Duh.
following one. So.
Okay, so we've got time. We've got time to get it. So that's coming. Okay, Shirley and Karen are in. Yay! All right, so this should be a good time. Okay. All right, so now we're coming to our closing song, Face of God, and afterwards we will have our closing affirmation, and then we can stay on for a hospitality time. We'll unmute everyone and we can all share. Okay.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
We have our affirmation coming up. There's a lot of clicks that Rick is doing to go from one to the other, so we're all being very patient and appreciative. Right. If you would repeat after me, God's great creation
God's great creation
expresses universal wholeness and diversity.
expresses universal wholeness and diversity.
I am not colorblind.
I am not colorblind.
I see the colorful, unique, and wonderful people
I see the colorful, unique, and wonderful people
who each bless my life and the world.
who each bless my life and the world.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you all.